Good afternoon. Welcome to the conferral of degrees for the 2012 graduates of Harvard Divinity School. It's a great pleasure for me, as for the final time as Dean of this faculty, to greet family, friends, faculty, staff, and graduates, of course, in particular, on this very happy and auspicious occasion. I begin, if you don't mind, with a brief word to our graduates. Whatever your degree today, you are, I'm sure, aware, all of you, that you are here not solely because of your own excellence, but also because of those who have supported you along the way. We, your teachers and mentors, are terribly proud of you today, but no one is prouder of you than those who sit beside you and behind you, and in some cases above you, namely the families who have always been your biggest supporters. I like to recall, I'm going to give you a chance. I like to recall here, as I'm afraid my colleagues on the faculty probably know, an Arabic proverb at this particular juncture, one which goes like this: Al-qird fi ayn umatihi ghazal, which translated literally and perfectly is the monkey or the ape in the eye of his mother is always a gazelle. And you know that your parents have always seen you as gazelles, as your family has. And no matter what, those closest to you see you always in the best light and see and want the best for you and the best that you can be. So I'd like for all the graduates to stand and turn, and let's give a round of applause to our families. Thank you. Whatever your age or stage of career, graduates, today marks the commencement of a new chapter in each of your lives. If your education has been good, to go back to the Latin roots of the word educo, it will have led you forth, or in fact drawn you out of yourselves, especially yourselves as you were when you arrived a few years ago. If I have any wish for you as you go on to new things, it is that you will continue to push outward from yourself to go forth to do and to learn new things. You have such singular talents that all of us who teach have seen in the classroom and learned from getting to know and working with you during your time here. Please do exercise these talents now, for if you do, our world, we trust, is going to be different and better than it is now. At this point, it's my great pleasure to be able to introduce one of your own to you, our student speaker this year, selected by his peers, and this speaker is Willie Francois, and Willie is about to receive the MDiv from HDS, and Willie, I will turn the podium over to you.
Thank you, Dean Graham. Would you all indulge me for a moment and stand? And as you stand, I'll leave the details up to you. Some of you all can place your hands in a prayer posture of sorts. Others can have their hands shoulder width apart. Okay, hold that, hold it. Okay, great, great. Great, so now I can tell everyone I got a standing ovation at Harvard when I put this on Facebook. You may be seated. to Dean Graham, incoming Dean David Hempton, HDS administration and faculty, and my cherished partners in learning. I'm immensely humbled by the coveted opportunity to offer inspiration during this key moment in our lives. In Divinity Hall on July 15, 1838, Ralph Waldo Emerson addressed an aggregation of graduates of this same school. And on that Saturday evening, Emerson said to that energetic and promising group of aspiring ministers, "When you meet men and women, be to them divine men. Be to them thought and virtue. Let their mind, let their timid aspirations find in you a friend. Let their trampled instincts be genially tempted out in your atmosphere. Let their doubts know that you have doubted. By trusting your own heart, you shall gain more confidence in other men." The imprint of these words and the larger address are readily sensed and seen in the texture of our academic community. Then and now, Harvard Divinity School ushers its daughters and sons along a path of becoming infectious good for a multiplicity of communities. This inward odyssey transcends the particulars of what we've consumed intellectually, of what we've read. It's committed to what and who we become in the process. From Hinduism to film, Presbyterianism to poetry, HDS attempts to affirm and enhance our varied conceptions, the shades and gradations of ministry. We thought we were coming to an institution known for its history of scholastic excellence, but we mysteriously found unexpected and in some cases unwanted family. With house parties, trivia nights at Queen's Head, weekly trips to Thirsty Scholar, and late nights at Lamont behind us, we should never discard or reduce the friendships we nourished and the memories of communal jubilation, hope-filled dialogue, and spiritual cross-pollination. We are finished with elaborately choreographed dances to Love on Top and Single Ladies at the charity balls, and the spoofing reimagination of the idiosyncrasies of our stellar faculty during theological review. That's all over. But we replace them with an excitement to create new memories and a resolve to connect our Harvard to the world. What will we become? We have commenced a lifelong conversation between these peculiarities, a theatrics of difference, and the traditions of Harvard. While we entered HDS negotiating a bevy of emotions concerning our belonging, the quality of practical experience, the level of cultural competence, or the daunting expectations of our denominations, our lives have enhanced this place. The stories of human commitment in the worlds of the borders, collecting rocks and water from New Delhi for noon service, sharing rich narratives of ex-offenders, empathic preaching with voodoo, meherista, and queer authority. Ironically, this brilliant peculiarity has made this place home for us. Like every class before us, and presumably every future class, the class of 2012 wrested HDS from its distant and sometimes depersonalized grip of its glorious past and tentatively recreated it as our nurturing home. We have nurtured our sensibilities for compassion, courageously interrogated the shadows of our own being, progressively grown tall enough to wear the crowns of truths, and even stubbornly opened our hearts to the sacred lives of the other. HDS has become our own laboratory of being good, being peace, being love, being truth. Here we have transgressed the imaginary boundaries that throw our worlds into immeasurable chaos and anchor tragic cultures of death. This productive transgression for the past 2 to 7 years respectively has taught us that people are more than just dynamic dust waiting for death's deadline. From that assumed dysfunctional alcoholic we avoid in Harvard Square, to that loquacious know-it-all in our Friday morning sections. We sure did want to be there. We are all sacred. Because of the culture of HDS, each succeeding stride will be reinforced by competitive love, incorruptible joy, and unswerving altruism. Holding in mind all the diligence and intellectual gifts with which we furnish this place, we must resist the easy impulse of entitlement. How easy it is to become inebriated with our achievements and the commendations of the world. Even on a day designated to celebrate you, the more courageous and memorable demonstration of human dignity is to think considerably of those who needed you to clinch this victory of dedication. This undertaking extends beyond self-satisfaction. The HDS journey has been a living libation to persons who will never have the occasion to walk these hallowed halls, to sit in Sperry Room, or to swipe a card to enter Andover Harvard Library. Unnamed and unknown persons will benefit from the drinks we have taken from the deep wells of knowledge and culture. Not just members of our families or those stitched into our known networks of association, but for that young man who is smarter than I, but is serving a sentence in Fulton County Jail. That young woman unable to push beyond the dynamics of an unplanned pregnancy. That person too timid to apply to Harvard because society taught her to mistrust herself. Make a quotidian practice of remembering and rethinking the gentle and robust and accidental nudging of people and events that helped you realize this moment. Maybe it was Mr. Bamberg who allowed me to pretend I was vice principal of Rosenberg Elementary School. Maybe it was Mrs. Cundiff who allowed me to head my papers Professor Francois in the 4th grade. Maybe it was that church mother at First Union Baptist Church who said, "Boy, God's gonna use you." Or the tender attention of a single mother, a playmate, and a younger sister, or praying grandparents and an aunt. Whatever it was, I cannot selfishly address you with the misguided confidence that I achieved today in isolation. This moment is just as much about them as it is about we. What will we become? I close with this. Paul Tillich, one of my Harvardian theological crushes, details in one of his sermons the uncanny and eerie birth of a refugee baby boy. In the Nuremberg war crime trials, a witness testified who, due to the threats on his life, lived in a grave in a Jewish graveyard in Poland. A grave was the only place he and others could live in hiding after they escaped the gas chamber. While in that dank, dark, damp grave, he wrote a poem that described the birth of a baby boy. In a nearby grave, a young woman gave birth to a child. An 80-year-old gravedigger heard the wailing and strains of this forgotten pregnant woman in the grave and assisted in the delivery of that boy. This gravedigger sensed the potential for and assisted in the materialization of life in a Polish grave. We are like that 80-year-old gravedigger, midwifing the possibilities of the forgotten. Our work is to squeeze into the constricted spaces overcrowded with human potential and midwife new possibilities of community, subjectivity, intelligence, compassion, and resilience. We are going to the graveyards of urban centers, the graveyards of politics, the graveyards of academic institutions, the graveyards of hospitals, low-performing public schools, and even the graveyards of churches, to assist in renewal, new life, and resurrection. We are responsible to the emerging possibilities of life in stigmatized places. Oh yes, life can happen in graves. As we write extensively, teach democratically, serve unflinchingly, preach prophetically, and organize courageously, may our meticulous efforts wrestle to secure the seemingly obscured scale of justice and offer to those in graves the long-awaited opportunity to weigh in. This has never been solely about matriculating at the oldest university in America or intoxication with status and privilege this place imposes. This is about living out a brand of help of that ordinary gravedigger, prepared and poised to do the impossible. What are you willing to become? As we close this chapter, variously named and co-authored by each of us, we must relearn the world and subsequently ourselves. We open a new chapter of our lives endowed with responsibilities of prodding others to live up to their best selves. Thank you, Harvard Divinity School, colleagues, mentors, professors, administrators, staff, parents, and friends for holding us accountable to the checks we wrote at admission. After every office hour, noon service, community tea, section, and class, the achievement of the MDiv, the MTS, the THM, or the THD relates to the world and assures us that our checks did not return insufficient funds. Congratulations, class of 2012.